it's Liz Yuille from Old Stables Crafts. Thank you very much for joining me again today. Today I've got one of those projects that is kind of, I've done some prep, but I haven't made the card yet. Fingers crossed it's going to work. So I have just taken delivery of the right triangle bundle. So I've got the stitched triangle dies and the right triangle stamp set, photopolymer stamp set with, surprisingly, lots of triangles on it. Just saying, August, December mini catalogue. Might want these for a stamp set that's in there. Just saying, don't tell anyone I told you. But, okay, so let's get on with the card. I have already prepped a piece of So Saffron card by die cutting triangles with a right angle, an equilateral and an isosceles triangle. The triangle dies have 4 right angles, so I've used the second from largest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 isosceles, again second largest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 right equilateral, and again I've used the second largest. I have also cut lots of little triangles using these 2 pieces. This would make a great border on a card or a little feature element. I haven't yet used the banner piece. I'm thinking you could probably lay these triangles onto the banner if you've got patience. So yes, I have die cut lots and lots of these, and I've got them all in my little pot lid. You can see my colour scheme. So it's So Saffron, Coastal Cabana and Magenta Madness. I also have a piece of window sheet which will fit underneath that corner. And I need to do some stamping. So I've got a piece of Whisper White, and it's just standard piece of Whisper White, and it's just slightly larger than my So Saffron piece. And I want to stamp onto this because I want this corner here to be filled in with some stamping. And I'm going to use my Stamparatus to do this. I was lucky enough to get some spare Stamparatus plates when we were doing the end of year clear out. So I've got lots of spare plates. Now I need, because this is photopolymer, I need my foam mat. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this piece down. Then I'm going to pop this down the wrong way up, but I'm going to pop it down so that I can then line up my stamp where I want it to stamp. Now it's too big for the hole that I've left, and I did do a quick test run which worked fine. This test run was only for the stamping. So I now know that if I only ink up the stained bit, it will be fine. It will fit. So close my door, peel that off. Let me grab a block to go under there. And I'm going to use Magenta Madness just to ink up the bit that I need. Now I am going to grab my chamois to just take off the bits that I don't need, just in case they were going to stamp into one of the other windows. It's not the end of the world because of what I've got planned. Right, now let's assume I'm going to have problems stamping. I don't think I am, but let's assume that I am. If you put a magnet down, it then means that your cardstock will be left where you want it when you then pull the door up, and that's fine. That is absolutely fine. I'm going to close my Magenta Madness before I start getting bright pink ink on bits of my anatomy that I don't want bright pink ink on. Clean the remaining ink off. It will continue to stain, but it is only a stain. It is not dirt, so it's not going to transfer to anything. So that's fine. Pop that over out of the way. Now I do want a sentiment on my card as well. I'm going to use one of the sentiments from the Many Mates, and that is going to go onto my So Saffron piece. and it's going to go up in the top corner. So again, I'm going to keep that in place, grab my sentiment, and just make sure it's clean. Actually, I didn't clean it. Okay, that's clean. And I want this to be really, really black. But I'm using Memento ink, and Memento ink is great on white cardstock. It's not so great on the coloured cardstock. So by using my Stamparatus, I can stamp in the same place a couple of times and get a really nice black image. Just want one more at the left hand side. There we go. If I was prepared for the cleanup, I would use StazOn, but you do need to clean your stamps reasonably quickly after using StazOn, because StazOn isn't actually great for your stamps, particularly your photopolymer. And I know this isn't photopolymer, but yes. So have you seen all the sentiments on the Many-Mates? So you've got some lovely big ones up here, and then you've got all these little ones. So we've got things like "Get well soon." You open the card and you've got ... better yet. Because you make me smile, on your retirement, you're so nice, I'm glad you were born, and I've chosen the life is better than. But there's a whole range there. So we've got get well, we've got anniversary, thanks, congratulations, celebrate, pretty much everything you will need, but in a nice variety of fonts. So really nice, really like that. Don't need that block. So let's bring in our pieces, and you can see that that stamped piece goes nicely in that corner. Now, I have also die cut these shapes out of Coastal Cabana and Magenta Madness, and I've layered them up. They're not the same height as each other, so this one has got 1, 2, 3, 4. This one currently has 5, but I'm actually going to add a 6th one to it so that they aren't the same height. First thing I need to do with this is to add some window sheet, and I've got a little corner of window sheet. So that's going to go there, and I'm going to add that with tear and tape. So I need to bring in one of my somewhat sticky, but it'll be fine, one of my slightly sticky silicone mats. Now that I can just run a piece of tear and tape straight down, because that is wide enough. The rest, I have a choice. I can either lie it down and trim it off, lie it down, fold it in half over itself, or what I'm going to do is grab my sticky scissors. Let's get a piece that's kind of the right length. That is kind of the right length. So I keep one pair of scissors, which I lost for a while, but I keep one pair specifically for using with adhesives, so I don't have to worry about having a sticky pair. Be useful if I can actually use them at all. But it means that all the stickiness is kept on one pair, and then every now and again I just clean them off. Okay, so pop one piece there. I'll trim that end in a moment, and one piece here. And just going to lift that up now, because we've not got any stick going anywhere other than onto my card base, of course. It's all right, it's dry Tombow, so it'll just rub off. I just have been too lazy to clean it off my silicone mat. Not that it's a difficult job, because it isn't. I just haven't got around to doing it. Okay, so let's peel that up. Peel that up and bring its little end in. And peel this up. And window sheet. Pop that down and find my bone folder and just burnish that down nicely. Okay, so the next thing we need is some of our adhesive foam strips. Because the pieces that I'm going to be using for my shaker element are quite large, they're actually from the cut from the die cuts. So they're cut using these two pieces here. So they are large, so I'm not worried about little bits of glitter lifting off or anything like that, you know, getting through gaps. Actually, let's be sensible. What I want to do, stick that somewhere out of the way. What I want to do is, I've got the piece of card that I die cut out, and I've got some tiny weeny bits of seal on the back, and I'm just going to pop that down so I now know where my hole is. So I can now take my sticky strip and just add it slightly further out than the piece of card, because I don't really want this showing. Now if I was doing something with glitter, I would make sure that that hole was, you know, really nicely butted up. It's not so important when you've got larger pieces. So if you're using sequins or, in my case, bits of card, they're not going to fall out. Is that going to annoyingly not be quite the right length? Yes, but that's fine. I'm going to be using more strips for other areas, so it's fine. So let's use this piece and just pop that just there. Now I do need to make sure that it's going to be within the yellow cardstock. What I don't want is sticky strip showing, obviously. Okay, so just check that that's there or thereabouts, which it is. Take this out, which, because I've only got tiny bits of seal on, it pulls out quite nicely, and I did de-stick them a bit before I got too carried away with them. Right, let's drop some of these into my opening. I actually don't want it quite that full. Pop those two bits back in, or not. There we go. Sometimes people overfill the shaker element and it almost doesn't shake. And then so this area here is going to be supported. That area needs support because all of this is going to have to be raised up. This strip here, let's just check where I'm coming to. So, okay. So yes, I can come quite close to the window sheet. So that's good. And then I obviously need a piece here. In fact, what I'll probably do is a few pieces here, so that we've got spread support. I don't know about where you are, but the weather with us while I'm filming this is appalling. If it was April, I'd say it was quite a nice day, but it's not. I think someone needs to tell the weather that it's July, and July in the UK is supposed to be half decent. Except it's not, you know, Mediterranean, but it is supposed to be reasonably decent. Okay, so let us remove these pieces of backing paper. This is going to be one of those moments of truth where I'll probably stop saying anything while I concentrate on getting everything lined up properly. These pieces of paper do come off reasonably easily. It's one of the joys of all of our foam adhesive is that the release paper actually knows that it's supposed to be release paper. I do sometimes wonder if some foam tape doesn't appreciate that it is supposed to release. Okay, so this is the point at which I will probably stop talking for a little bit while I get rid of those bits of ick. That's better. Okay, so I want to hold it so I'm not on the sticky. This is always one of the fun bits because the window sheet will attract the shaker elements. Yeah, that's not too bad. It's not perfect, but it's okay. So our shaker elements are shaking. Our pieces are reasonably well supported. I'm not going to answer that phone because it will be for my husband. So these pieces now need to be laid in, and all I'm going to do is pop them into the spaces. It will go to answer phone in a moment anyway. Now, I could, if I wanted, add another layer. I think I'm probably okay with the number I've got. Let's see what will happen if I added an extra layer. No, I think I'm happy with the number I've got. So, I'm going to use liquid adhesive, and I'm going to pop it down here and here. Do just need to pop a little bit more there. And pop in my Coastal Cabana bit. And all I've done is die cut some bits that I didn't need anymore, where things had gone wrong. You know, we don't always do things perfectly first time. So you can just use scraps of cardstock. And particularly because these are being inlaid, it doesn't actually matter what colour you use. And having the liquid adhesive means you can move it around a bit. Right, okay, so card base. So half a sheet of A4 just folded down the middle, and my other piece of Whisper White cardstock, which has now buried itself. Find another piece of Whisper White cardstock. It will turn up. So this is going to go on the inside, but before I do that, I thought it would be fun just to add some more stamping. So let's pop that back down. And I'm tempted to use one of these sort of element pieces rather than a triangle. I think I might actually use the stripes. So let me grab that. And I'm going to use Magenta Madness again, just so that it carries through, because it is quite Magenta Madness on the front of the card. So let's just stamp that down. And now what you can do is these actually line up. So you can get a whole stripe across the bottom. Close that up again. Make sure it is dry, which it is, more or less. Grab my card base and some seal. Oops, get it running properly. And out. This is going to need to be refilled any minute now, so it is getting a bit gungy. I think all tape runner tends to get a bit gungy as it gets to the end of its tape, but I love it as an adhesive. it is amazing. So much better than our snail was. I would be fascinated to hear from those of you who live in more humid climates as to whether you agree that it is coping with the humidity all right, because that was the real issue that snail had, was how it hated humidity. And I'll just use some liquid adhesive for this so that I've got a little bit of wiggle room. And there we go. Let me just turn that over and give it a good press. And that is our The Right Triangle Meets Many Mates card with a nice little shaker element as well. Now, if you wanted, you could add some little in-colour dots. We've got the magenta ones, so you could add those. I don't think it needs it. I think it's a bold statement, and I think the little pieces might detract. We've got little pieces here. So, yeah. Hope you liked that. As I say, if you get the stitched triangle dies, you will find you will have a second set to use them with. Hint, hint. Anyway, thank you very much indeed for watching. If you've enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. If you need any of these products, you can get them from me if you're in the UK. If you're in Europe, then you can join my team, as you can if you're in the UK. If you've enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you don't subscribe, I would be thrilled if you would. Leave a comment if you've got anything you want to share with me about this, any questions you've got, and I will be very happy to answer those. Thank you very much indeed. Have a fantastic remainder of your day, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye!